Welcome to FineBI Training for Beginners Chapter 5, Analyze in the Chart. In the previous chapter, we have analyzed the data in a table. However, we may encounter many problems. For example, if we only look at the data in a table, it may be difficult to read effective information from the calculation results. That's why it is necessary to master some skills of data visualization. Then, in this chapter, we will teach you how to make visual charts using FineBI. We know that there are rich chart types in FineBI to meet different needs for visual presentation, but how should we choose the most correct chart type to present the data reasonably? First, we need to determine the theme of the expression, that is, what information we want to get from the data using the chart. The same set of data has different themes when viewed from different perspectives, such as the set of data on the right. If you focus on the sales development trend from January to May and how the selling price changes over time, then the theme of your chart should be sales have increased steadily since January. Or you may want to focus on a certain point, say on the data for May. You may record the sales ranking of products A, B, and C. In that case, the chart theme should be in May, the sales of product A significantly exceeded that of B and C. Looking at the same data for May from another perspective, you might also focus on the percentage of sales that each product accounted for. Then the theme of your chart should be in May, the proportion of product A to the company's total product sales ranked first. The key to choosing the right chart is to identify the specific topic that you want to convey. The right choice of chart format depends on the clarity of the topic. Because a chart merely indicates the organization of the data, it is ultimately meant to emphasize a topic, which can actually serve as the title of the chart. The next step is to determine the comparative relationship between the data, mainly these 5 relationships shown on the right side of the slide. Comparison refers to the comparison between different objects. For example, in August, the sales of stores A and B are roughly the same. Proportion means the proportion of the individual in the whole. For example, in August, the sales of store A accounted for 15% of the annual sales. Trend refers to the trend of data development. For example, it is expected that the sales of store A will increase in the next year. Association is the connection between data. For example, the amount of bonus has nothing to do with the length of service. Distribution refers to analysis of different dimensions of data. For example, the turnover of store employees mainly occurs in the age group of 40 to 50 years old. At last, you can choose a chart format to display the data. Some charts in FineBI have been categorized over here, so you can choose the right chart according to your theme and the comparative relationship between the data. Now back to the case. After learning how to choose the right chart, if you are still not quite sure what chart you want to make, or if you need to combine multiple graphs on a single chart, then you can make custom charts so that you can easily adjust the chart you want at any time during your analysis. We have created a group table to show the chain growth rate of gross profit, but it is not intuitive enough to highlight the change in values. So, here we will combine a column chart and a line graph to visualize the data. Firstly, click on the 3 dots next to the gross profit chain growth rate component and click on Copy to make a copy of the component, and then switch the chart type to Custom Chart. As you can see, the custom chart is column chart by default. In the Graphic Properties area, we can set the graph type for all indicators or for individual indicators. Now we want to display gross profit in a line chart, so we just need to tap on the gross profit and then switch column chart to line. Now we find that there is a large difference between gross profit and its chain growth rate, but they share the left value axis, which causes the column chart to not display very well. How can we solve this problem? Well, we can click on the gross profit field to drop down and click on Set Value Axis. The shared axis is now the left value axis. Let's change it to right value axis and click OK. After doing this, the column chart looks much clearer. Now our analysis is basically complete. In order to make the whole chart look better, we can beautify it. For example, if the legend on the right is preventing the user from viewing the chart, we can change the setting of legend in component style so that the legend is displayed below the chart. Next, let's take a look at the color of the graph. The 2 indicators have already been separated by different colors. If we want to highlight the negative part of the column chart, which represents the chain growth rate of gross profit, we can drag a gross profit chain growth rate field into the color box in the property setting area of this field. So, we can drag in a gross profit field first and then calculate its chain growth rate through quick calculation. Next, we click the Nearby Setting button and choose Area Gradient. Adjust the number of intervals to 2 and set the value less than 0 to show as red. That way, we're done setting the color. Then we will learn how to use a pie chart to show the sales percentage of different commodity categories. First, click on the Add Component icon below to add a new component. Here we still use the data from the Commodity Sales Schedule table. Let's start by creating a group table to calculate the sales percentage of different commodity categories. We drag commodity category into the dimension box and sales into the indicator box. Then perform quick calculation for the sales field to calculate the percentage of sales for different commodity categories. Then let's rename this field as sales percentage. The next step is to convert the chart to a pie chart. We can see that the fields in the dimension and indicators boxes have just been automatically moved to the color and angle boxes in the graphic properties area, creating a pie chart on the right. This means that different colors are used to represent different commodity categories, and the larger the angle of the pie chart, the larger the percentage of sales of the commodity category. If we hover over the pie chart, we can see the prompt for commodity category and sales percentage, but what if we want to display this text directly on the pie chart? We can drag the content we want to display into the tag box in graph properties such as commodity category, sales and sales percentage. We can recalculate the percentage of sales in the tag box, or we can copy the sales percentage field from the angle box and drag it into the tag box. Lastly, rename the component as sales percentage of different commodity categories.